The investigation. It's time for another episode in the crime investigation series, The Downtown Apartment Murder. Michael Johnson had spent decades at the DA's office. He'd seen it all, or so he thought. But what he witnessed in the case of Mrs. Susan, or Samantha Anderson, was unlike anything before. It was a hot, crowded Thursday morning, just before 10 a.m. I had barely stepped into my office, hadn't even had my coffee, when the phone rang. Great, what now? I thought. I picked up. Yes, who's this? Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Sorry to call early. We've got a murder on Huda Street. A woman found dead in her apartment. You need to come right away. It was Officer Ethan. Understood. I'm on my way. A murder first thing in the morning. What a way to start the day. I grabbed my keys and rushed out, hoping to grab a coffee later. This one was going to be long. Half an hour later, I arrived. The police had already secured the area. The building was an old 4-story structure in the heart of downtown. At the entrance, Officer Ethan met me. I asked him to have someone bring me a coffee, and we headed up to the second floor. The apartment door was wide open. At first glance, nothing seemed out of place. Forensics were already on the scene. The body was in the living room. Dr. Mark was examining it. I nodded a greeting and let him work. Meanwhile, I moved through the apartment. Was anything stolen? I asked Ethan. Yes, cash and jewelry. I checked every room. Everything seemed normal until I reached the kitchen. The wooden door had a shattered glass pane in the center, and it was locked from the inside. Back in the living room, I asked Dr. Mark, "What's your preliminary assessment?" Blunt force trauma to the head, multiple blows. The killer made sure she was dead. Any signs of a struggle? None. I believe she knew the attacker and was caught off guard. Estimated time of death? Between 8:45 and 9:15 a.m. Just then the coffee arrived. I took it and sat down to question the maid, who was sobbing quietly on the couch. Name, age, and how you found the body? My name is Emily Ferguson. I'm 28. I came in around noon and found her like this. Normally I arrive at 8, but last night, Mrs. Susan told me she'd be late today. She was taking her son to the hospital. How long have you worked for her? 6 years she lived alone. Her husband passed away. She inherited this apartment, a gym, and a fitness center from him. She was kind, kept to herself, didn't deserve this. Rest in peace, Mrs. Susan. You were my shelter in this world. Now I'm alone. Her words were moving, but experience had taught me. Doubt is the path to certainty. I asked Ethan to call down all the neighbors and especially the building's doorman. Soon the doorman arrived, a man in his 50s, lean, dark-skinned, wearing a robe. I asked for his name and age. George Brooks, 58. Mrs. Susan married an engineer named David Brown 15 years ago. He lived here all his life. They never had kids. He passed away after 7 years. She inherited everything. Did she have frequent visitors? Rarely. Sometimes she'd stay inside for a week. Other times she'd be out for a couple hours, or all day. But she was polite, well-mannered. And the maid started working for her? A year after her husband died. That aligned with Emily's timeline. When was the last time you saw her? I asked. Around 8:30 this morning. She usually goes to the bank weekly. I was having tea outside when she came down. I said, "Isn't it unusual to go out on a Saturday?" She paused, realized it was Sunday. Banks are closed. Then she went back upstairs. You didn't see or hear anything odd? No, sir. I left for breakfast. I live alone. My family's in the countryside. What about the back staircase? Accessible? Yes, it has a separate door but opens into the same courtyard. At that point, I was convinced. The killer was someone inside the building. I asked George to stay nearby and went to question the residents. First floor, a retired couple. Names and ages? I'm Dr. Nathan Parker. This is my wife, Dr. Nicole. We retired 3 years ago. Did you see or hear anything? We wake up early, then nap until noon. Didn't notice anything. Your relationship with Mrs. Susan? Only exchanged greetings. Rarely saw her. Children? 3 sons, all married. They visit occasionally, usually Fridays. Third floor, A young man living alone. Name, age, occupation? Jason Scott, 29th. I live alone. My wife died of a heart attack 2 years ago. No kids. I inherited the apartment from my grandfather. I used to run a restaurant chain. Now I work in investments. I didn't ask for your resume. I'm just trying to show I'm not the killer. Where were you during the murder? Playing PlayStation. Didn't hear or see anything. Your relationship with Mrs. Susan? Barely knew her. Fourth floor. A family of 5 with a live-in maid. Nothing suspicious. The maid mentioned she had been washing rugs and hanging them by the back stairs. Didn't see or hear anything.
I had the body moved, the apartment sealed, and a guard posted. Days passed, no leads. Forensics revealed nothing new. No one had entered or exited at the time of the murder, confirmed by camera footage. Then, a breakthrough. Jason Scott's story partially checked out, but he lied about his businesses. He had gone bankrupt and sold everything. Why lie? I returned to the building. What was Jason's relationship with his late wife? I asked the doorman. They fought constantly. Her parents used to step in, lots of yelling. He hated being married. And with Mrs. Susan, they knew each other well, more than he's letting on. That whole thing is what made his wife sick in the first place. Now I was sure Jason was involved. I just needed proof. Then came the call. Officer Ethan informed me that someone had anonymously reported Jason selling jewelry that matched the stolen items. We recovered the pieces. I brought Jason in for questioning and ordered another sweep for fingerprints. 2 hours later, he stood in front of me. Why lie about your work? I didn't want anyone to know I'd lost everything. Seen this ring and necklace before? No. Then how did someone report you selling them? I have enemies. This could be a setup. Enemies who'd kill and rob just to frame you? People do crazy things. Names. I don't want to wrongly accuse anyone. We took his fingerprints. I told him not to leave the building. A few days later, we got the match. His fingerprints were found on the inside doorknob of Mrs. Susan's apartment. I ordered his arrest and brought him in for a full interrogation. Faced with the evidence, he confessed, "It's all my fault. I lost everything. My money, job, wife. I started gambling lightly, then spiraled into stock trading and massive debt, closed 6 restaurants. My wife died of a heart attack after she found out I mortgaged our apartment. I had a bit of cash left and gambled it all away online. 2 days before the murder, debt collectors showed up. No mercy. That morning, I saw Mrs. Susan leaving. She asked her maid to get detergent. I remembered what my wife told me. Susan kept cash and jewelry at home. I took the back stairs, broke in through the kitchen glass, locked the door. But she returned. She saw me. Before she could scream, I attacked her with pliers, again and again. I took £500,000 and a jewelry box. The maid was upstairs, so I waited until it was clear and slipped back to my place. I gave the jewelry to my creditors. That app ruined me. It's ruined thousands. I know people who've stolen, killed, or taken their own lives because of it.